Hello YouTube, welcome to the Phasmophobia new player tutorial. This tutorial is intended for players that are of the lower level, maybe someone that just got the game, just started playing the game, and want a couple little tips to help them out with leveling, ghost hunting, making money, stuff like that, how to use the tools properly and at what time to use them. You're not going to walk in the house with certain tools in the beginning that you would near the end. So this is the main screen. This is what you're going to see when you log in. Technically, you're going to see this, but if you press spacebar, it'll bring up the main menu, or you can click on the board. On the board, it'll show your stats, your level, your XP needed for your next level, your money, your server version, your daily challenges, which reset every 24 hours. Just pay attention to the timer. If you have 2 or 3 minutes left on your timer, go ahead and do your challenges, restart your game, and it will reset the challenges. So the first thing I always tell people when they first start playing the game is go to your options, go to your PC settings, adjust your field of view to a comfortable level. I run at mine at 90. That way I can kind of see a little bit more in the room. That kind of helps me out a little bit. VSync, that's up to you. I keep mine off. I cap my frames anyway. I just use it off for streaming purposes. Mouse sensitivity, that's personal preference. Cursor brightness, not really noticeable. All these other settings, screen space, that's computer dependent. If your computer is running a little slow, you can turn that off. It'll help out a little bit. Make sure you turn on local push to talk. You want to keep that on at all times. We'll talk about keybinds in a moment. But make sure this is on unless you are playing with a controller. If you are playing with a controller, then this will not apply to you. If you're playing with mouse and keyboard, keep it on. Audio. Obviously, this is to test your microphone. If you're having microphone troubles, the game can't hear you, your other teammates can't hear you, you can adjust that here. Click to test. Give us a sign. It'll hear you. It'll tell you if it's set up or not. If it's not set up, then make sure you set your default Windows microphone to the microphone you want to use, which is your sound settings. Right click on the microphone you want to use, set it as default communication device. Pretty simple. Go back out. Master volume, obviously that's self-explanatory. Next is going to be your controls, forward movement, all this other stuff. Run. This is very important. Keep on that to W. This way you don't have to hold shift. You can use shift for other things. But it keeps you from holding shift all the time. You'll always be running. Just remember it does not apply when you are moving backwards. So you will move slower backwards, which is to be expected anyway. You're not going to run backwards. Crouch to C, run, blah blah. Here's the keybinds for push to talk. Mine is bound to my mouse. You can bind them to whatever you want. Inventory swap is tab. It's really what these keybinds here are my own personal preference. You can set them to whatever you want. Secondary use, F. Secondary use is actually place item. I don't know why it says secondary use. I don't know. But that's place item. Graphics, this is personal preference, whatever you want to put this on. If your computer is a little slow, you can turn down some of these settings. Brightness, I set mine to 2, set it to whatever you want. I prefer 2. Bloom off, turn bloom off, never use bloom, keep it off. It's easier on the eyes, unless you play a little bit longer. It looks better, turn it off. Other degrees, Fahrenheit or Celsius, whatever you choose. I choose Fahrenheit. We'll go back out. If you haven't done your training, make sure you do your training. Always do your training. Item store, you don't need to worry about right now. Just leave that option alone. We'll get to that later. Play. It's the first thing you want to click after you do your training. Go to play. Now here's where it gets a little weird. These are the servers that you can join. I do not recommend joining randoms at a low level. Most of the time the people will leave or you will be kicked. Find a group of people to play with. You can check my description. I have the Discord for my channel where people play quite frequently, and we will join you anytime. Even me, I'll join you. And you can join the Phasmophobia Discord, and there's plenty of people there that'll play with you. Just try to avoid randoms as much as possible. Get a group of people you know and play with them. You can create a public here, like this. It's kind of the same thing. You don't know who's going to join. Anyone can join. We're not going to do that. I really highly recommend playing solo. If you have a code down here on the bottom left, if your friend sent you a code, you can type it in here and hit enter, and it'll take you to a game that was just a random number. If your friend sends you a code and you copy it, you can enter from clipboard. So we're going to go straight into create private. Also here on the right is your server region. But you're going to create a private. That's what you're going to do first. Now, this screen, there's kind of a lot going on at one time. Your code is going to be up here at the right. Click the eyeball, show the code. You can copy the code. Select job down here on the left, leave on the right. Change. Now this is your character. You don't have much to choose from, but this is how you change your character. You can be anyone you want, you know, out of the, 8 people, I think. So, this is going to be your equipment list. This is your inventory. Most new players only have this. If you have an extra item or two, you can add it here. If you want to buy some items, if you have some money, you will click on this button to buy. We'll get into this stuff later too. So down here on the bottom left, select job. This is what you want to do first. This will show you the contracts that are available. These are kind of bad. Ridgeview Roadhouse is pretty good, but as a new player, avoid prison, high school, and the farmhouse actually. And I'll get into why the farmhouse later. Ridgeview Roadhouse isn't bad. It's kind of a little big, but we want something very specific as a new player. So if you don't get the job you want, click back and click leave. Click the board again, click play, create again, select job. It randomizes the maps again. We're looking for Tanglewood. That is what we were looking for. As a new player, that's the one you want to run. So we're going to do that one more time until we get Tanglewood. Still no Tanglewood, shocking. Grafton Farmhouse and Bleasdale Farmhouse, you kind of want to avoid those two maps early till you get a little bit more experience. Reason being, there's not many places to hide on those two maps. Edgefield, there's plenty of places. Prison's just too big. If you only do prison as an amateur, then you're gonna lose. It just takes too much time. Way too much time. So let's try again. See if we can get Tanglewood right there. Tanglewood Street. We're gonna click on that. I got it as intermediate. You're gonna get it as amateur. You might get it as intermediate if you're above level 10. So we're gonna select that. Also, another thing I want to show you. All this information is kind of irrelevant. Recommended team size 1. Recommended items none. Location size small. It's kind of, you know, information that's not really relevant at the time. So we're gonna hit this place. Select. Now, what I'm gonna do is, considering this is a new player tutorial, I will not add any items. I will only bring what the game gives you in the beginning, which is what you as a new player is going to have to use. And those are the items I'm going to use to help show you the process, the flow of how the game runs. I currently have 318 hours in the game and level 876. A lot of my time, you know, my time is a lot higher than what my level should be. It's because I mess around a lot. I mean, it's kind of a goofy game as you level. So once you select your job, you can add your items here. If you want to bring any items, we will not bring any items. And we're going to hit ready. Now, when you hit ready, there's something you have to see here, and I got to show it on the screen. It shows I'm ready. But if I want to change my character, and this applies to anyone in your group, if you have a full group, everyone's ready, and you're like, oh, I want to be someone else, and you hit change, it will unready everyone. So make sure before you click ready, you have the character you want. Anyway, so let's go. So we're going to jump in here, and I'm going to show you what I would do and what you should do in the game. So when the round starts, nothing is going to happen in the house. The timer technically has not started for the house because you haven't opened the door. This is the door. This is how you open the door and how you come back. When you get done with the job, you click on that again. This is your items. This is where all your items will be. This is what your items will look like. You'll have the weak flashlight here, fingerprint light, book, video camera, EMF detector, regular camera, spirit box. The key will always be right here. Never forget the key, because then you have to walk back. Your board. Now, the important thing about your board, objective 1 and 2 give the maximum experience. Objective 3 and 4 give no experience. They do give money, but no experience. So make sure you are completing objective 1 and 2. Will we complete objective 1 and 2? Probably not, because we have capture a photo of dirty water. That is the boss of Phasmophobia. That is the unicorn of Phasmophobia. It does not happen, and when it does, it's extremely rare, but we're going to try. So, check your objectives. It'll show the name of the ghost. Irrelevant currently. You never really need the name of the ghost. I don't understand people's infatuation with the name of the ghost. You don't need it. The game is based off a timer. Yeah, you'll get a little bit of activity if you use the name, but in most cases, you don't have to. So we need EMF reader, presence with a motion sensor, which we do not have. We don't have to worry about that. Dirty water, discover what ghost type. There are 9, or is it 12? I think there's 12. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. I think there's 12. I think I just miscounted to 12. That's funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 ghost types. They're all very distinct. They all have different abilities. This is your journal. Obviously, you know what this is. These first few pages, kind of irrelevant. Each ghost has a weakness. Smudge sticks. You don't need to memorize any of this. Just understand as you're playing the game and what type of ghost you're discovering. You make sure you read the weakness, read the strength. That way you can have a better understanding while you're doing the job, so you don't get killed, basically. So as a new player, what do you want to take? Obviously, your flashlight. With only these items, grab your flashlight. That's one slot. Spirit box, very important. You get your spirit box first. There's a reason. Most of the 12 ghosts have spirit box as an evidence. So what you're doing is you're narrowing down what it is by using the most common items first. Spirit box, ghost orb, EMF, fingerprints, freezing temperatures. Check for those items in that order. You'll have a good time. So we're going to do spirit box. Since we have EMF on the board, we're going to take our EMF detector. And because you don't have a thermometer, you have to take the EMF detector. So there's a timer on the board. As an amateur, it'll say 5. Intermediate will say 2. Professional will say 0. Basically, this timer counts down to when most of the activity can happen. I have completed jobs before the 5-minute timer. So to me, the timer is kind of not really something to go by. You can get evidence before that timer runs out. You can complete the job before the 5 minutes runs out, especially on amateur. So we're going to take our EMF detector, we're going to take our spirit box, we're going to take our flashlight. Now when you have an item in your main hand, like this, press T to turn on your flashlight. That way you have a light. So let's go inside and take a look. Now before we go in, a couple little tips. There's 2 ways to find the ghost. One does not require any items. Use your ears. Listen. Walk in. Stand there for a minute. Listen to the environment. Listen for things falling, footsteps, doors moving, items, phones ringing, radios, light switches. There's always an audio cue to tell you where the actual ghost is. The footstep. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I heard it to my left. Oh, I just heard a light switch. There you go. That is one of my biggest tips. Use your ears. If you don't use your ears, there's 2 ways you can. There's another way. You come in, you start on one side of the house. Start on the left and work your way around all the rooms. Back to the door. You'll find it before you get back to the door. Hopefully you'll find it and it's not in the basement. So just do a normal sweep with the EMF, like so. Pretty simple. Go in each room, like so. We might get dirty water since it's beside the ghost room. You don't have to turn on all the lights. I wouldn't turn on any lights, to be honest. Get used to it being dark. That's all I can say. But obviously it's in this room. So we're going to throw down our EMF. We're going to take out our spirit box. We're going to turn off the light. We're going to ask a question. There's 3 main questions I always use that almost are guaranteed a response. The first one is, how old are you? You didn't get anything. The next one is, what do you want? Nothing. And then the next one is, are you here? Nothing. Are you here? What do you want? How old are you? Nothing. So we're going to leave this on the floor, and we're going to leave it on. Leave it on. Okay? Because it's always, you can always come in the room and be like, how old are you? And it'll answer if it's spirit box. So anytime your EMF's going off like that, turn your flashlight off. It makes it easier to count how many dots it is. And it's 3. If it does go off, pick it up and try to find the source. So it's kind of more so in that corner. Kind of here, right around the crib, in this wall. So we know where the source is. I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you look down, you see your breath. That's evidence. Let's turn the light back off. Now we're going to head out to the van. We're going to grab our next item we need. Anytime you're out of the house, that's when you want to put stuff in your book. Do not open your book in the house, ever. It's a bad idea. You'll have a bad time if your book is open in the house. Now, this is where you put your evidence in. You can scroll through. Freezing temperatures is always 1 to the left. That's just... So go 1 to the left for freezing temps. Or you can scroll through. Now, I do this in phases. To me, that was phase 1. I found the ghost room. I got 1 piece of evidence. Now I'm going to go to phase 2. I'm I'm going to take in 2 specific items. I'm going to get another piece of evidence. So my next item I'm going to take is going to be the book and the camera. Now before you pick the camera up, click on it so it turns on. Or you can right click while it's in your inventory and turn it on. Left click rotates the camera. F places the camera. Remember that, F places the camera. Now sometimes there's a camera bug. If you place the camera and pick it back up, you have to cycle the power again. But that's just a variation. And also another thing, before you leave the van with the camera, think about where you're going to put it. I know where I'm going to put it, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-turn it to where I am going to put it. I'm going to put it on a shelf facing that wall. So I'm going to place it kind of like that. That way I know I don't have to go in and turn it and stand there in the dark and get all scared. I can just go and place it. So we're going to go in, we're going to drop this in a specific place, which is going to be right here. Like that. I'm going to get out my book. I'm going to crouch. I'm going to place that. Anytime you lay a book, say, "Can you write in the book, please?" Make sure you hold down the push to talk. Say, "Write in the book. Can you write in the book?" Make sure you ask if it's literate. "Are you literate? Write in the book." That always helps, okay? And then we're going to leave. Now we're going to go out to the van. And we're going to look at the camera. We're going to look for orbs. Obviously you see them. I see them. They're moving kind of quick. Something I've noticed is if the orbs are moving extremely fast, then it's a gem. Or irreverent. These are kind of moving a little quicker than normal, but you know, that's okay. We can't make any solid predictions yet. So we're going to open our journal. We're going to add a ghost orb. Now that we have 2, we can start the process of elimination. This is something you always want to do as a newer player, even an experienced player. This is something you want to get used to doing. When you have 2, it narrows it down to 3, sometimes 2 ghosts, sometimes 1. So, Yuri, Phantom, Mare. So let's go in our book. Yuri, ghostwriting, Phantom, and Mare. Spirit box we never got, so Mare's out. So that leaves Yuri and Phantom. EMF 5. So those are our options we need. EMF 5 and ghostwriting. So that means we do not need to take in the fingerprint gun. So let's grab our camera. Check our board one more time. We completed the EMF thing, and that's all we're going to really complete on this one. So remember, ghostwriting, EMF 5. Those are the only 2 we can get. So now our next goal, phase 3, is going to be photos. This is where I go in, I find the bone, I get a photo and pick up the bone, I look for any Ouija boards, and I try to get a photo of the ghost. That's my 3rd phase goal. Break it down into phases. Take in your easy stuff first. EMF detector or thermometer. If you have a thermometer, don't take in the EMF, take in the thermometer first. Which I'll have an advanced video after this one. So I guess now we're going to go in and try to get photos. That's my 3rd phase. And we're going to check the book. So we're going to look for the bone, and luckily it's actually right here. We're going to take a photo of that. We're going to pick it up. Like that. Now we're going to look for a Ouija board. There are a few places it will spawn. It has a tendency to spawn in this closet, which it did not. It has a tendency to spawn in this back bedroom. Back here. Which it did not. And it has a tendency to spawn in the basement. Power box is in the basement. Always remember where the power box is. It'll spawn either right here or right here. And it did not. So let's go back up. It doesn't spawn every time, but if it's a phantom, it will spawn. And it spawns right here, which it did not. And sometimes it'll spawn right there on the floor, which it did not. So, that being said, let's head back to the ghost room. Remember our two objectives. EMF 5 or ghost writing. So let's go in here. Let's take a peek. Maybe we have writing. Hey, well, would you look at that? We have writing. We can turn this off now. Take a photo of ghost writing. We're gonna wait for a minute. We're gonna brave it. Now you don't have to do this. This is for money purposes. If you want that little bit of extra money, hang out. Try to get a photo. If you see any items flying like that, right there, and that, you can take photos of them sometimes. And it will give you an interaction, which is a little bit more money. I would love to get dirty water. Give me a sign. Make dirty water. Give me a sign. So we're gonna wait here just for a moment. This is not required. We're gonna get yelled at. That's fine. That's very common. We don't want to ruin our sanity and be hunted. So let's go ahead and head out. We have everything we need. Shut the door on the way out. Open our journal. Add ghostwriting. Yuri. What is a Yuri known for? Have been known to stronger effect on people's sanity, which is even more reason why we do not want to stay in there if we do not have to. We don't want to make a hunt. Hunts usually start around 60% sanity, sometimes 65. I've seen them hunt a lot earlier than that. So we're at 62, so we're kind of want to, stay away. And our book is done. There are items there. You don't need to bring the items back from the house. And we're done. I mean, we're not going to get the motion sensor because we don't have one. We're not going to get the dirty water because it's so rare. So let's go. Now, it's going to load the game, obviously. It's going to show you what you did and did not complete. We didn't do Objective 2. We didn't do Objective 3. Objective 3 is not a big deal. We don't get any XP. We don't get any XP from Objective 4. Objective 2, though, we get a ton of XP from Objective 2. So we lost a massive amount of XP. As you can tell, we only got 60 XP. As a new player, that's a good thing. If you're level 1 or 2 or 10, it only takes 100 XP to level. We're going to get into more advanced tactics in the next video, where we can get a lot higher XP. You can gain up to, I think I've seen 300 one time. The average is around 250. So you can gain 2 levels, sometimes 3 levels per run. And so it goes pretty fast. So let's hit resume. We're back at this screen. Now, let's say you have a little bit of money. Let's say you got, I don't know, $1,000. So let's go ahead and buy. Now, what do you want to buy first? Do you want to buy a head-mounted camera? No, you don't. You don't need that. You don't need a glow stick. You don't need a microphone. You don't need a light sensor. You don't need a ghostwriting book because it gives you one. What you want first is a thermometer. The first thing you want to buy is a thermometer. This makes your quality of life so much easier. Easier to find the ghost room. It just the phases that you're going to go through. Remember the 3 phases we did. It makes it so much easier with the thermometer. Step 1 is going to be thermometer. Step 2 is going to be sanity pills. That way you can stay a little bit longer. You can do some extra things. You know, we could have stayed and got a photo of the ghost. We could have stayed and probably got dirty water. But our sanity was going down. You know, that's $75 right there. For both of those. It's a good deal. You know, buy as many of these as you can get. At least 2. Buy 2 sanity pills, 1 thermometer. The next thing you really, really, really need is a strong flashlight. I would put strong flashlight in as the top 3. Strong flashlight, sanity pills, thermometer. Purchase those first. Then start getting your other things, you know. Crucifix I highly recommend, just because it prevents a hunt. It prevents 2 hunts technically. And there's achievements. So I guess order of operations will be thermometer, strong flashlight, crucifix, sanity pills, and then start going into your different things like smudge sticks, maybe a tripod. That way you don't have to, you can place the camera wherever you want, and then just build up from there. Don't come in here and buy, you know, a bunch of candles, 3 lighters, you know what I mean? Like, think of what you really need and only buy that. I can't stress enough the thermometer, the strong flashlight, the sanity pills, the crucifix, the smudge stick, the lighter. I'm basically naming those things because those are objectives. Work your way towards a motion sensor. You only need 1. And then start adding more cameras, a maximum of, you know, a couple, until you get to a point like me. I got way too much of everything. I try to keep 10 of everything because I'm weird. I died a couple times. By the way, when you die, you lose any items you bring with you, so make sure you only bring what you need. Other than that, make sure you guys like the video, sub to the channel if you're new, leave a comment down below if you want, you know, if you got any questions. If you ever want to join me, I do stream Phasmophobia almost every night. I stream to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. I'll put my Twitch down below, my Facebook down below. I'll put the Phasmophobia Discord if you're ever looking for people down below. I'll put my Discord as well. If you have any questions, like you want to know anything specific about any item in the game, feel free to ask. I do play on the beta a lot. There are big changes coming in the game. I'm going to have an advanced video coming out probably in a couple days, depending on how this does. It'll cover more detailed items, how to use them properly, how to get the most effect and the most speed. That's what this game is about, is being quick. The quicker you can get a job done, the quicker you can get to the next job, the quicker you can get XP and money, and levels. I mean, that's what it's about, you know, impress your friends. You know, you log out tonight at level 10 and you watch the video, you jump on, you do a couple rounds, and bam, you're level 50, you know? That's how it is. That is exactly how it is. But thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Just remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And thank you.